Hello. In just 3 minutes, you'll see an hour-long program packed with information for you, the home satellite TV watcher. Stay tuned. Good evening. Welcome to Satellite Showtime. I'm Pat Olson. Satellite Showtime is brought to you by our fine corporate sponsors, including Luxor North America and Coltronics Incorporated. Our program tonight is so packed with information that time is of the essence. So let's start with our first segment. It's something you've never before seen on TV, and it's something you can learn quite a lot from. It's a sales tool produced by Video Sales Presentations Incorporated of Richmond, Virginia. And even if you're not a dealer who could use this as a sales tool, you'll still be able to learn from it. It will teach you some things that you probably didn't know before. The speaker is Jess Duvoy, a nationally recognized sales and advertising personality. Now here's the tape.
Satellite dealers, attention, please. Video Sales Presentations Incorporated has something for you that no one else in America is offering. It will help you sell home satellite systems more quickly and more profitably. We're going to tell you about it right now, right here on this program. We think you're going to want it, so get a pencil and paper ready to write down our phone number. Satellite dealers, this is for you. We are Video Sales Presentations Incorporated. This is a message that I direct specifically to you dealers of home satellite systems. I want you to hire me. That's right. I want you to hire me to work for you in your showroom. But even more important than that, I want to go into the homes of every one of your customers and tell them why they should buy a home satellite system and why they should buy it from you now, today. Now, you may be saying, what do I need with you? Here are our thoughts on that. Even if you have 10 salesmen out in the homes pitching your home satellite system, it would be very unusual if even 1 out of the 10 was really a super salesman and a super closer. Why should you waste a lead, a potential prospect, with a weaker sales pitch? Here is what we have done for you. We have produced for you a 10-minute video presentation on beta or VHS. Your prospect can view this in your showroom or, and this is most important, your salesman can carry the VHS or the beta presentation with a small playback unit into the prospect's home, connecting it up quickly to their television set. Push the button, and while a customer is viewing this sales pitch, the salesman watches the reaction of the prospect and prepares for the close. Now, in this video presentation to the prospect, here is what I do in a nutshell. I answer all the objections. I explain what a home satellite system is, how it works in simple terms, and actually go into the close right on the tape. The profits from less than 1 extra sale will pay for the entire program. I believe that every dealer that uses this tool will double his sales with his existing sales staff. Double the sales. Same overhead. Only you know what that would do for your profits. Now, I'll be back with a few wrap-up comments after you see the presentation that you will either show in your showroom or that will be shown in the home by your salesman. This is television, the greatest instrument of entertainment and education ever invented. The future of television and video is infinite. In the air around you at this moment, where you sit, are television programs waiting to be plucked out of the air. But were you aware of how many entertainment programs, sports programs, educational programs, cultural programs are there for you? Hundreds and hundreds. Now, there are 3 ways that you can bring this entertainment to your television. First, a few local television stations that can be picked up off your antenna or rabbit ears directly into your television set. Second, if you are hooked into a cable system, you probably have about 20 different full-time channels available. The cable company pulls these signals out of the air and sends them down a line to your television set. And third, you can get over 100 different channels through a home satellite system like this that connects to your present TV set. We're here today to talk about this newer, more exciting, up-to-the-moment, state-of-the-art, cheaper way of getting so many more sources of programs than you probably ever thought possible. Now, for a very few minutes, we want to present some simple facts to you. Think about them, and you decide whether you want to select from 3 or 4 channels, approximately 20 different channels on cable, or over 100 channels. We will show you how you can get so much more for so much less. First, some important facts about satellite TV. Let's look at quality. Taking TV signals out of the air into your home off of an antenna or rabbit ears can provide a picture from good to poor. The signal goes through the air from the TV station's antenna to your home antenna. Frequently, it has to go around buildings, through trees. It bounces off of other structures such as homes, hillsides, and can sometimes give you a pretty mediocre picture. Now, if you're hooked into the cable, they can receive very clear pictures, but they send these pictures down a wire, and the signal is so low, and in many cases, it has to travel so far to get to your home that many amplifiers or boosters are needed to get the picture to you. Frequently, a cable picture is slightly snowy or fuzzy. It can range from a good picture to very poor. Now, the third, if you own a satellite system, you're getting a picture directly from a satellite, unobstructed. A superior picture if it's tuned in correctly every time. Video quality is superior. Audio quality is superior. Those are the facts. Now, let's look at how the picture gets into your TV set. It's very simple. The dish is located on your property, aimed in the general direction of all of the communication satellites. In your TV viewing room, depending on what is the best instrument for your area, you'll probably have 2 units that look similar to these. Here's how simple it is. Push a button on this one, it aims the dish at the chosen satellite. Push a button on this one, it selects the channel on that satellite. Or this one remote control can do it all. There are, of course, many other models and designs. Our representative can recommend the best system for you. He'll also recommend the best dish for you. They come in various sizes and styles. They have one that's sort of a mesh design that you can see through. It's almost invisible in your yard. If you decide that you want hundreds of programs to pick from instead of just a handful, and you want to save money in the long run, and you want to have a better picture, in short, that you want to own a satellite TV system, will you be by yourself? No. Over 1 million people already are the happy owners of a system. They are currently selling at the rate of $60,000 a month. Not only are the satellite TV systems here to stay, they are growing at a very fast rate. Why? We've already said it. You get all available programs, about 5 times more selection than most cable systems. The picture and the sound are better, and the cost can be much less. Now, a big question. Are there any big problems connected with owning a satellite TV system? The answer is no. For example, the law. Congress has just passed the Cable Communications Act of 1984, making ownership and operation of satellite TV systems completely legal. As a matter of fact, your tax dollars put the technology up there. Now, why should cable companies be the only ones to receive it and charge you for it? Having your own satellite TV is the most modern, the most intelligent, the most dynamic, the most enjoyable way to receive all of the available programming that's out there. But make note of this. The cable companies, with their advertisements, brochures, and whatever else, will try to convince you that you don't want a satellite TV. Instead, you want to keep paying their monthly fees for the rest of your life. Let's talk about their fees. There is now no regulation on what the cable companies can charge. Now, that means that the fees will surely climb higher and higher as the demand increases for more videos. So you're going to be paying higher fees for the rest of your life for less programming. And they will have the control of what you watch. They will have control of what movie channels you are seeing, what sports events are broadcast, and so on. No, the cable companies don't want you to own your own satellite system. You get all the facts, and then you decide what's best for you. Another note, it is possible that a few of the very high-priced movie channels, such as HBO, may go to the expense of scrambling their signals. Now, that means that you will not be able to get that one out of over 100 channels without paying them a small fee. Now, that's a possibility. But if you have cable, you're paying for that movie channel right now already. Now, remember, that's only a possibility on a very few channels that may never come to pass. And you can get them for a fee if you want them. We think, though, that with over 100 channels, with so many programs to pick from, you're not going to be concerned about that. We talked about the cable rates going up every year. Think about this. If you own your own satellite TV system, once it's fully purchased, not only will your rates never go up, you will never pay for the service again. You will own it. And these systems are designed to last for a lifetime. Let's be fair. It's possible that some repair would be necessary. But these satellite TV systems are designed to last for a lifetime. They're printed circuitry, they're solid state, and may not need servicing in your lifetime. Even if a little is required from time to time. It's a whole lot better than big monthly fees for the rest of your life. Let's set a little scene for you. You're in your living room, it's Saturday afternoon, and it's 1 o'clock. The primetime shows are not on yet. You sit down in your easy chair next to your controls, pick up the weekly satellite programming guide like this, flip over to Saturday, and look at 1 o'clock. Now here's Ernest Tubb. Now there's a news update. There's basketball from Puerto Rico. Now there's a comedy show. There's a boxing world championship. A fishing show, let's see, a women's golf classic. Hey, there's a computer program for professionals. Far too many of these to mention right here, of course. This just gives you an idea. Here's a movie called Hot Properties. Hey, a special on Beethoven, college basketball. Oh, there's a sports weekend program. The Undersea World of Jacques Cousteau. I like that. Well, there's an hour of prayer. There's a different college basketball game. Well, here's a tennis match. Now, here's a pro basketball game. Well, that's a different college basketball game. Let's see, now there's another movie on the movie channel. Wait a minute, there's a different movie on this movie channel, and there's a different movie on this movie channel, and there's a different movie on that movie channel, and many, many more. Decide what you like. Push button 1, the dish finds the satellite. Push button 2, it tunes to the right channel. Every reason we can think of indicates that the smartest thing to do, the least expensive thing to do, the most fun thing to do is to purchase your own satellite system and be completely independent of all other sources. From now on, you're your own boss. You decide the programming. There's every reason in the world to get your own satellite TV system now, today. No reason to wait. For instance, some potential buyers were waiting for a somewhat smaller dish, but not anymore. It was soon learned that the smaller dish required a much more powerful signal to be bounced from the satellite. It quickly proved to be completely impractical. Most all of the major companies have abandoned the smaller dish. It may never come to pass. You know, owning your own satellite system is kind of neat for a lot of reasons. All the ones we've already mentioned, plus just owning one makes you feel sort of special. Now, even though millions are going to be sold, while we're getting to that point, only a few people in your neighborhood would probably have one. You may be the only one in your immediate neighborhood. It'll be a ton of fun to show your friends your satellite system and how it works. We think they'll have a lot of respect for your judgment and your leadership and foresight. We think a lot of them are going to want one too. As a matter of fact, we hope they do. Well, I want to thank you for the time you've taken to listen to our comments. I want to wrap this all up with just a few final thoughts about why we believe you should make a decision today to own your own satellite TV system. Number one, it's your legal right. Number two, it's the technology of today and tomorrow. Number three, you'll receive every available program, over 100 channels. Number four, picture quality. And number five, economy. It costs less overall. Buy it outright now or make monthly payments for a few years, not the rest of your life. Every day you wait is costing you money and pleasure. And now our representative can recommend the best equipment for you and what may be the best purchase plan for you. Thank you. Well, there it is. That's the presentation that'll be seen by your prospects either in your showroom or in their home. How many salesmen do you think are out there in your entire territory who could be this convincing, could answer the objections as well? When a salesman uses this tool, he doesn't have to get himself up and enthusiastic and excited day after day, month after month. As you know, that's very hard to do. Because of this taped program, the pitch is always vigorous, exciting, and persuasive. Now, for you to produce a sales pitch, like is on this tape, would cost thousands and thousands of dollars. But because we are marketing this sales tool to dealers like you all over America by the thousands, your cost is fractional. I leave you with this thought. Every prospect that your salesman talks to that doesn't get a pitch this strong, this convincing, is costing you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Order your copy immediately. Don't miss another sale. Don't miss another dollar. Thank you. You can order a VHS or beta copy of this presentation by calling this toll-free number, 1-800-858-7300. That's 1-800-858-7300. We accept Visa and MasterCard or COD. You can call this number right now and until midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight. If the phone is busy, keep trying until midnight Eastern Time. If you still can't get through, call us tomorrow from 9 to 5 Eastern Time. When this presentation was introduced at the Las Vegas show, many were purchased at the regular price of $4.95. This is a special offer. Our price is only $1.95 for this presentation you've just seen on VHS or beta if you call right now or tomorrow. Call now. Once again, the number 1-800-858-7300. Video Sales Presentations Incorporated thanks you for your attention. And good selling.
The sales tape you just saw includes a sales guide to help train people what to do before, during, and after the showing of the tape. One reason Video Sales Presentations Incorporated put the tape together was to bring professionalism to our industry, and it covers all the points a professional presentation should cover. Coming up on this evening's Satellite Showtime, Bob Cooper talks with the man who made possible the existence of direct broadcast satellite TV. And coming right up, Mike Gustafson puts on his sunglasses, steps outside, and talks about power drives. Stay tuned.
Luxor, space-age technology at an affordable price. Satellite receivers, antenna actuators, remote controls, and auxiliary sensors, all by Luxor. Here's a totally integrated satellite television reception system. The Luxor 9550 remote controlled satellite receiver. 24 channels, selected, fine-tuned, programmed for automatic recall. 4 different audio systems, built-in RF modulator, automatic polarization, 2-speed scan, video inversion control, AFC defeat, and Dolby noise reduction and more. The Luxor 9534 antenna actuator, automatic satellite selection by remote control, all at the touch of a button, remarkable ease and accuracy. And the Luxor Mark II, a high-performance block satellite television receiver system, several sets, each having their own independent channel selection at the same time from a single antenna. That's the Mark II. Just a few of the high-performance, technically advanced satellite products from Luxor.
Want to know more about satellite TV? Then go to the source for product reviews and how-tos. We're on the road and out in space, and sometimes in very cold places, with features and technical reports. It's all in satellite TV. That's only $19.95 for 12 big issues of STV magazine. Call now, 1-800-438-2020, and get this LCD calendar clock free with your subscription. That's 12 big issues of STV magazine and the clock for only $19.95. The number again is 1-800-438-2020. 1-800-438-2020. Call now.
Super Winch, with 2 modern manufacturing plants in Putnam, Connecticut, was founded on innovation and dedication to quality workmanship. Today, in its 15th anniversary year, Super Winch has produced over 750,000 winches and hoists worldwide and over 10,000 linear actuator systems. Super Winch knows DC motors and gears. Linear actuator technology has presented a challenge for the Super Winch product development team. In 3 years of testing, redesign, and more testing, they have produced what is now the best-built, most reliable actuator in the home satellite TV industry today, the solution. Super Winch offers a complete line of dish positioners, from complete systems in both programmable and east-west models to actuators only for receiver interface. Drive heads for horizon-to-horizon mount systems are also available. Super Winch stands behind their products and has for 15 years. The solution, the actuator everyone wanted built.
We want to thank tonight the people who make this show possible, our advertisers. And we ask you to give them a call and tell them you appreciate their support of our show. Here's some time for you to write down their phone numbers. Now, here's Mike Gustafson.
Hello again, and welcome. The subject for this episode is antenna remote positioners, or power drives. We have out here today in the backyard here a couple of antenna drive systems. There are 2 basic types of drives that are out there today. There are the basic east-west type of drive and a programmable. Both of these drives, the Super Winch 2010 and the DX DSB 400, are both programmable drives. What do we want from a power drive? Well, we want it to be able to move our antenna for us when it's raining cats and dogs, or we just are too lazy to get up and go outside and move the antenna. So we have a remote control system. We have the head or the control unit indoors, and we have the actual drive outdoors. This is the power drive actuator, if you will, that is associated with the Super Winch. And we have the actuator associated with the DSB hooked up on an antenna you'll see in a moment. Now, there are 2 kinds of feedback devices which give us the information as to where the drive is. Now, let me explain that a little better. When we move the antenna, we need to know where it's pointed, where it's looking. And the way we do that is we have feedback devices in these actuators which actually tells us where the positioner is positioned. So essentially there are 4 basic kinds. There's Hall effect, reed relay, potentiometer, and optical. And we have out here today, we have both the Hall effect, the reed, and the potentiometer. I don't have any optical to show you. So that is the device that actually feeds back, tells us where we are located. That's the feedback sensor system. Each of them have their particular advantages and disadvantages. They all work fairly well. Okay, in all cases, we have to connect the control head to the actuator. We do that with heavy cables such as this. And this is fairly typical cable. We have two conductors, which are heavy for running the DC motor. The motors in all cases are between 36 and 48 volts DC. So that's the main power cable. Then our feedback sensor system actually comes back via these small number 20 cables. These are shielded. There's 3 insulated and 1 ground wire. And this is a typical wire that's made up to be used for actuator systems. There's some derivatives of it where they only have 2 of the wires rather than 3, but most of the time you'll find that this is the kind of wire to be using. It should be shielded. The sensor wire should be shielded from the main power wire to keep extraneous pickup. Okay, now let's take a look at a typical installation of a power drive. So we have the actuator from the DX over on this paraclips antenna. So let's take a look at this for a second. This is a Warner drive. It is a reed relay feedback sensor. I think it's about a 36-volt actuator system. A couple of points to note here. First off, there is a ball joint up here which allows the actuator to rock back and forth as it moves the antenna. It has a ball joint at this point so that the whole the whole drive system can rotate up and down to find its happy place of operation. The thing we're trying to get at here, we don't want any stress between this point and this point, which will show itself up here on the joint where it moves. This is the extension part and this is the fixed part. The electric motor is here, and then the cable coming in usually comes in on a piece of weatherproof nut right here, but it's off for the purposes of filming today. An interesting point to note on almost all these drive systems, we're very concerned about the geometry. In other words, you'll notice a triangle. We have a hypotenuse and then 2 legs of a triangle right here. And right now on the West Coast, we pull from the left-hand side. On the East Coast, you would pull from the right-hand side. And our concern is if we extend this too far, this whole machine will move out and will hit the axis point right here, and the antenna will go over center, thus snapping this point. So we want to make sure that when we install this, we fix it such that the full extension of this arm does not allow us to hit this point. Conversely, when we retract it, we don't want the antenna to come around and hit anything. So we have some trade-offs to be made here. And the consideration is a mechanical one with this. Now, it's very important that you keep this angle here that makes this triangle as big as possible so that our geometry always can pull and push properly. When you think about it, the concept of taking a circle and pushing it with a straight stick does have its inherent problems, but these actuators are doing a very, very good job in our industry today. So let's make one of these run for a second. We're going to take the DX drive. And we're going to make it run a little bit. You can see how it pulls down. Now conversely, we're going to extend it. And if I've done my job right, and I've programmed the limits properly, it should stop itself and protect itself before it goes over center. There it is. Now that's the limit. I'm still holding the east-west button trying to make it go, but it hit its limit. And now it's going to come back all by itself. Okay, let's stop it right there for the time being. It's a problem when you have too much science here. In any event, so what else do we concern ourselves with on installation? Well, we worry about water getting in to the drive. We worry about water getting in down here. So we have one way of solving this problem, and that is a little thing called a boot. Looks like a slinky. But this weather boot would attach on the drive at both this point and at this point, and it would keep water from getting down inside and rusting the mechanism inside here. Conversely, we also have boots that would go around this point and keep water out of here. And then, of course, we talk about drilling holes in certain parts of this to let the water run out. If we put our boots on here and here, it's really not necessary, I don't believe, to worry about drilling holes. They pretty much take care of themselves. Okay, that takes care of installation, the geometry, stresses on the drive, and the weatherproofing. Now let's talk for a second about limits. I mentioned earlier that if I'd done my job right, the limit would stop me from going over center. There are two basic kinds of limits. There are mechanical limits and electronic limits. Electronic limits are actually programmed into the memory of the drive controller, and it remembers a count, and when it gets to that count, it stops the drive from moving. Mechanical limits, on the other hand, are just that. When the drive moves to a certain location mechanically, it automatically shuts off, both on extension and retraction. So which is best? Well, I'm not sure that we can say which is best, but let me just give you an example of things that I've run into. In the case of electronic limits, if the drive should have a problem and lose its memory, you also lose the limits. And I've had the occasion of electronic programmable drives losing their limits, electronic limits. Doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's catastrophic. Mechanical limits, on the other hand, never forget, but they do fail. So it could be argued either way, that you still have the same problems. The super winch system, and why it's out here, is a programmable drive. You select the satellite, punch the button to the satellite, and off it goes. It also has mechanic limits. Now let me show you these limit switches here, and I think this is a really kind of a neat system. The feedback sensor and all the mechanics, electronics is inside here, but on the top we have a user adjustable limits. If you watch, this is a threaded rod. It spins. We have a limit switch and a limit switch. We have the up position and the down position. So if I run this, you can see that little nut is running along the drive. And eventually, if I work this right, when it gets to that down limit, you'll see the limit switch click. And the drive will actually shut itself off through no help of myself. Here it comes. It hits it, and it shuts off. Conversely, if I drive it out, this guy also catches it. That's one example of mechanical limits. The DSB400 DX system is electronic limits. We program in it the east limit and a west limit, and we require it to remember where those limits really are. And let's see, there's one last drive that I wanted to show you. Now these all, the DX has an infrared remote control that allows it to go in different directions and select alphanumerics. That is, each satellite is stored in memory under its name. So we use the controller to select F4, SATCOM 3, etc. When we leave it set for about 3 seconds, off it goes. The Super Winch 2010, you select the satellite of interest that's written across the top by lighting the LED by selecting, and then it sets for about 3 seconds, and then off it goes. The last one I want to show you is the Tracker Force system that we use here, and it's hooked up to the big dish. And this nice thing is it's not an infrared remote control, it's a UHF remote control, which means I'm nowhere near the controller, but I can make the dish run. So we're going to make the dish go on out, and you're going to see the drive system that's associated with that system. It's a Saginaw drive, and it has a boot on it. And you can see we're going to drive it all the way over, and we're going to hope its limits hold, because there it goes over center, and that's good enough right about in there. So you can see how the boot is extended. It's waterproofing the Saginaw, the ball joints at top and bottom, and the boot at the bottom of the drive, which actually is there for sealing purposes. So I think that pretty much sums it up. One note of caution when you're putting in your drive for the first time: always, always, always have someone out watching the antenna system while you're hooking your drive up. A couple of things happen consistently through no fault of the manufacturers. When you wire up the drive, invariably you wire up the DC power backwards. It doesn't hurt anything, it just means the drive runs backwards. So when you command it to go east, the drive actually goes west. No big deal, but if you don't know that and you don't have someone out there watching for you, it could be embarrassing. So you have someone watch to tell you which way it's going, and then when you're setting the limits, they will tell you when the antenna is about to go over center or about to run into something, and you can know where to set your limits at that point. So the first couple times you run the drive on an installation, always have a second pair of eyes out at the antenna. So I think that's about it for this time. Thank you very much for watching, and until next week, see you then.
If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for Mike, you can write to him at this address, P.O. Box 20700, San Jose, California 95160. Next week, Mike's topic will be satellite footprints. But coming up still this evening on Satellite Showtime, the topic will be the man who made the existence of direct broadcast satellite TV possible. Stay tuned.
Are you confused about satellite programming guides? Are you tired of monthly inaccurate guides that are big and bulky and about as much fun to use as a city phone book? How about tabloids with hard-to-read print, incomplete movie listings that are about as easy to use as a roadmap? Or newspaper guides with confusing grids that fall apart in your hands? There is an alternative. Onset, the easy-to-read, easy-to-use weekly programming guide with more movies and sports. Best of all, Onset is only $39. That's right, 52 issues for only $39. But don't take our word for it. We'll send you a free copy of Onset, and you can judge for yourself. And if you're a dealer, ask about our dealer program. Make your customers happy and make money. Call Onset now. Toll free 1-800-438-2020 or write Onset, Box 2347, Shelby, North Carolina 28150. Onset, you've seen the rest, now try the best.
Welcome back. Last week, Satellite Showtime newcomer Bob Cooper had the first of a two-part conversation with a man very important to our home satellite industry. Now here's Bob with part two.
Last week in this segment, we met Dr. Yoshihiro Kanishi, the president of Uniden Satellite Technology. Dr. Kanishi, at the time of the interview segments, was visiting us here in the Providenciales Laboratory in the Turks and Caicos Islands for Coop's Satellite Digest. And we were exploring the performance of the Uniden C-band TVRO systems in a pretty rigorous testing program. Well, Dr. Kanishi is known worldwide as the man who made it possible for DBS, or direct broadcast satellite television, to exist. Some 10 years ago, while employed for the Japanese NHK network as their chief scientist, Dr. Kanishi created a receiver that reduced from $10,000 to $100 the actual cost of building a microwave satellite video receiver. This was quite a giant step for technology and a similar leap for mankind's quest to conquer television from space.
At the time you did that, you were with the Japanese National Broadcasting Network, NHK.
Yes.
And you were developing this because of a plan at NHK to one day in the future to provide a DBS kind of a service. Is that true?
Yes, that's true.
So the reason for creating it was to satisfy the necessity for low-cost receivers.
Right.
For DBS.
Right.
And the 12 gigahertz or KU band.
Right.
Well, the Kanishi receiver, as it would become known worldwide, did more than satisfy a long-range plan of the Japanese NHK network. Actually, it happened at a very fortunate time because his receiver provided the technical data to allow the entire world to plan a DBS system. The time was 1979, and the communications regulatory bosses from 154 different countries were meeting in Geneva, Switzerland, to plan a brand new type of worldwide television service, something that ultimately would be called DBS, or direct broadcast satellite. Well, Dr. Kanishi's work became the basis for the entire world planning, and it would be his receiver which became the nucleus for the DBS service that was envisioned back in 1979. And this is quite an honor for one man. Well, gas vets were virtually unknown in 1975. That was the era when Dr. Kanishi was designing his innovative receiver. They were certainly very expensive, even if a few people had seen one or two. And they were far too expensive even for commercial TVRO system LNAs. Dr. Kanishi was the right man at the right place at the right time.
When I developed such a planar circuit mounted waveguide, there was no gas FET, and it was very, very expensive. But in that case, we achieved the less than 4 dB noise figures at the time. But recently, gas FET components has been developed, and it has a good performance and with low cost. Therefore, gas FET will be a very effective method to improve the noise figures. And few years ago, the gas FET technologies is used together with a planar circuit by us. And recently, gas FET performance little by little improved and with low cost. Therefore, recently, the gas FET preamplifier is used together with the planar circuit, like a print circuit, or thin film technology or thick film technologies on an aluminum substrate. This is used for the front end, and after that, the mixer circuit made on a print circuit or thin film technologies or thick film technologies is used for the front end. So I'm very pleased the gas FET becomes low cost.
Well, the name of the game in 1975, then as now, was noise figure. A low noise figure in the front end of the receiver, the down converter, or the amplifier that preceded the down converter. And Dr. Kanishi created a 4 dB noise figure at KU band without any gas FET amplifiers. That was quite an amazing achievement. However, things have changed since 1975, and now the combination of Dr. Kanishi's planar waveguide circuits and the gas FET signal preamplifiers has proven to be the best of two different worlds: low noise, high performance, and low cost. Well, more recently, in the Unit N 5000, 6000, and 7000 satellite receivers, Dr. Kanishi has been concerned about picture stability when the signal levels are quite low, near threshold.
To remove the energy dispersal signals, we need the clamping circuit. And many people using the just clamping circuit with a single diode or two-stage single diodes. But I'm using the push-pull clamping circuit rather than a single clamping circuit. It is very important for us to make the stable pictures in the case of the threshold levels. Because if we use the single usual clamping circuit, if we want make very strong clamping, very strong hard clamping, we call it hard clamping.
Yes.
In that case, you may figure out as the something sag in a waveform at the portion of the vertical synchronizations, because the clamping circuit is integrating circuit.
Yes.
So that makes the make unstable the pictures.
Well, Dr. Kanishi is quite a man, and he has also developed a technique which each of us can employ to check for picture stability. Here's a test that you can say, I learned from the Dr. Kanishi. Pay close attention. We've all seen picture flicker. That occurs when a picture is not being properly clamped in the receiver. It sits and goes flip, flip, flip. Well, here now is a test created by Dr. Kanishi, which each of you may employ for testing receivers for flicker.
Show me your technique for flicker. I love your technique for determining whether or not a television set has flicker. You were telling me about it as we were driving in the car last evening. You don't look directly at the television set.
Yeah.
Show me how you do that and use the camera as your example. Tell me that.
Okay. For example, it is very important to examine the television's flickers.
The flickering of the picture on and off.
Flicker on the pair.
Okay.
You should not look at straightly the cameras. We have to, we have to make something in the angles, my face and eyes to look at the TV's face.
So you look out of the corner of your eye at the
Corners,
television
yes,
set.
like
Yes,
that.
yes.
So flickers exaggerate.
That makes the flicker worse.
Yes, that's very important.
That's a very interesting test instrument. The corner of your eye is a flicker tester.
Flicker test. My corners in these portions.
Calibrated corner of your eye.
Calibrating the flickers.
Dr. Yoshihiro Kanishi, a very energetic 58 years young, president of Uniden Satellite Technology, and one of the primary reasons why Uniden has become a rapid-paced leader in the TVRO industry. This is Bob Cooper. Thank you for watching us here this evening. I thank you for being a part of our television program, and now good evening from the studios of West Indies Video in the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Coming up on the Calltronics video newsletter, Joe Kelch has a guest who talks about walkie-talkies and more. Stay tuned.
The Luxor Mark II, a new generation of electronic excellence. The Mark II is a block satellite receiver system. It offers independent channel selection for multiple TV sets from a single antenna. In the home, for neighbors to share, in hotels, apartment, offices, and for licensed SMA TV redistribution to the entire community. The Mark II by Luxor does it all. You receive the best signal, the highest possible performance with Dolby high fidelity sound. Other features include the individually programmed audio, AFC automatic fine-tuning controls, all on the 24 programmable channels. An infrared handheld remote will give complete control over the channel selection on any satellite. It's all so easy with Luxor Mark II. See it and then enjoy it. The Mark II does it all.
Welcome to the world of satellite TV opportunities, the marketing techniques magazine for satellite television that reviews the latest technology and introduces you to people you should know.
Satellite TV Opportunities is the marketing techniques magazine for satellite TV dealers. Our single purpose is to help dealers increase their sales and their profits through improved marketing techniques.
Call today for your subscription to success, 1-800-922-2812, Satellite TV Opportunities Magazine.
Satellite TV Preview is the best thing next to your satellite dish. With all those programs now at your fingertips, you won't want to miss a thing. Satellite Preview lists over 100 transponders in an easy-to-read weekly grid schedule. It has a daily list of movies, specials, and sports, plus a list of sports by event. Call and subscribe now for only $39.95 for 52 issues and save $38 off the newsstand price. Or call for a free sample copy. Dealers, we also have a special offer for you. Call now, 1-800-826-0735. Visa and MasterCard accepted. Satellite TV Preview, the best thing next to television.
Good evening and welcome once again to Calltronics Video Newsletter. Last week we spoke briefly about the Satellite Earth Station, that's the SCS distributorship, and the fine job they're doing with their newsletter. We spoke of Joe and Millie Fontenot, who are the founders of SCS, and I'd like to tell you a little bit more about some of the real basics that they came up with as far as salesmanship. We spoke of attitude being vital. That certainly is true. Now these, as I mentioned, are basics, the things that we all should know and do know, but sometimes we forget. Things like not letting a bad sales start on a day throw you off for the rest of the day and ultimately for the week, and possibly there goes the sales for the month. Attitude has got to be picked up. We spoke of how Millie, as a retailer, when she began to sold $500,000 worth, mostly on the phone, in her first year. Now that is fantastic if you'll recall the early years of the industry. How do you get the positive attitude? You eliminate the words, as Millie said, of can't, if, and impossible. And Joe said, when everything else fails, try work. Try working. They mention also, as we go on from what we mentioned last week, the importance of smiling. It just provides that intimate human touch with the consumer. Consumer walks in the door and he doesn't want to spend any money. He wants something that is very important to him and his wife or family, but don't mention money. You do it simply with your presentation, and Joe says basically, remember KISS, keep it simple, sweetie. They mention sweetie instead of stupid, the old last word in that motto. So keep it simple. Keep your presentation simple. The positive attitude has to come through in your sales presentation also. Keeping it a question of what are you going to get for your money? What are you going to invest in is a good word. Because basically you're getting more than you ever could in your cable system if you've had cable. You're getting a lot more and you're getting it for less ultimately, and you own your own system. The handshake when you're meeting the people or as they're leaving is very important. And Joe says, don't give him the old wet fish handshake, and don't crunch him like you just milked your 28 cows that morning. Do it with a firm handshake, a sincerity that has to come through. It has to be very sincere, and it can't be a put-on. Eye contact is very important. You have to look them in the eye, and that is important because people somehow, if you're looking away, as I'm now, they don't come across as being honest, and you have to be honest. He says introducing yourself is very important, and very much try to remember their name. Ask them to repeat it. Is it Schultz or Schmidt? What did you say? Is it John or Joe? Etc. You have to sell quality and service. Quality and service are very important. We'd like to talk more about good newsletters and good selling next week. The Trans 10 by Qualtronics, quality, performance, and strength, and all at a highly competitive price. Engineered for maximum durability and reflective surface, also extremely easy to look at. Baked acrylic, thermoset black finish, low luster appeal. A parabolically formed hub, prime steel, and a solid 14.5 inches in diameter. Ribs of superior strength tubular 16-gauge steel encased in polytrans vinyl. Full half-inch unobstructed mesh retaining channels. The patented rib design assures maximum reflector signal and better retention of panels in high wind areas. UPS shippable anywhere in this country. The Trans 10 by Qualtronics. High performance and strength. Tested and approved to withstand wind velocities up to 90 miles an hour and approved for 2-degree spacing by the McDonnell Douglas Corporation. Yes, the Trans 10 with a limited 5-year warranty is your best buy of all mesh antennas on the market. The Trans 10, the antenna for every season. And now some important information about the latest Qualtronics antenna, the 12-rib Trans 10.
The Trans 10 12-rib design by Qualtronics. This beautifully designed and crafted transparent antenna is setting the industry on its ear. With the latest in antenna technology, the Trans 10 12-rib has strength, accuracy, and beauty at a price you won't believe until you experience the quality and savings yourself. Baked acrylic, thermoset black finish, super strength rib, hub, and rim. Qualtronics means quality, and the Trans 10 12-rib lives up to the Qualtronic tradition.
Qualtronics is happy to be an authorized distributor and service center for the innovative satellite home electronics equipment by Luxor, a name synonymous with high technology. The Luxor 9550 remote control satellite receiver gives you total control over the satellite spectrum. 24 channels can be selected, fine-tuned, then programmed for automatic recall. 4 different audio systems, mono or stereo, can be selected in wide or narrow bandwidth for programming with any channel. A built-in stereo processor for both TV audio or stereo sound only eliminates the necessity for an add-on stereo processor. An RF modulator in the receiver provides easy connection to any TV set. The 9550 is not only a satellite TV receiver, it will feed a hi-fi stereo system with quality audio-only signals. You can also make professional quality VCR recordings via the audio-video baseband outputs. The Luxor 9534 antenna actuator. Now you can have fully automatic satellite selection at your command by remote control. The location of 30 different satellites can be precisely defined and programmed for automatic recall at the touch of a button. The unit is designed to interface with the Luxor 9550 satellite receiver. Introducing a new generation of electronic excellence. Now several TVs throughout your own home can have independent channel selection at the same time from a single antenna. Advanced block conversion plus high performance technology brings you quality pictures. Temperature sensitive components are in the receiver inside the house. A built-in stereo processor for both TV audio and stereo sound only eliminates the necessity for an external add-on stereo processor. The Scantic is packed with state-of-the-art features designed and built to the most exact in European standards, created to expand your video and audio universe into crystal clear reception and virtually unlimited viewing selection. Easy channel selection, 24 programmable channels received through simple digital push-button control. Choose even or odd channels, step up or down at the touch of a button. Precise fine-tuning for each of 24 channels is automatic and programmable. You can also make your own fine-tuning adjustments with a fingertip touch. Feature for feature, Scantic delivers the most versatility and higher quality performance automatically for less.
Here's the perfect take-it-along or enjoy-it-at-home personal TV you've been looking for. It's a KTV, the name you can watch, in a compact 5-inch color TV with video monitor. That's right, video monitor with separate audio and video output input. The KTV has 3-way power capabilities, household AC, 12-volt DC using your car or boat battery, or D batteries for ultra portability. It's very light, less than 9.5 pounds, has a quick start picture tube, automatic gain control, electronic digital tuning with slide rule turning dial, and video monitor switching capability. The KTV has everything you ever wanted in a personal TV and video monitor. The price is sensational, just $239. That's right, $239 for this color TV with video monitor and 3-way power. For more information or to place your order, call now. The number is 800-826-KAUL. In Wisconsin, call 800-826-NOVA. Call right now. Our sales staff is standing by.
The Consumer Electronics Convention and Trade Show 85 over in Toronto is coming up the 18th through the 20th this month. Remember that one. We'd like to remind you also, dealers and distributors, call in. The numbers are on the screen. We'll be here, and our sales staff will be here to answer your calls. And that's it for this evening on Calltronics Video Newsletter. Good evening.
Thank you, Joe. The conclusion of Satellite Showtime right after this.
For a limited time only, you can receive Channel Guide for a special reduced rate. For just $9, you will receive 8 weeks of Channel Guide, a month of Galaxy One magazine, and the all-new 1985 Whole Earth Station catalog. That's a $20 value for just $9. Then close check and address, and you'll start receiving the original grid format for satellite TV. Due to this low price, no phone orders may be taken. Write today. Channel Guide, Department 808A, P.O. Box 1633, Englewood, Colorado, 80150. Do it today.
That's all for this evening's Satellite Showtime, brought to you by our fine corporate sponsors, including Luxor North America and Qualtronics Incorporated. Next week, we'll bring you a segment we regret we weren't able to bring you this week, our Shelburne Film segment on setting a satellite dish on its mount. Also, Mike Gustafson will talk about satellite footprints. Bob Cooper will begin a three-part series with a MACOM spokesman. After this program tonight, we encourage you to turn to another satellite for another program. It's a radio program called FM America, and it's about our home satellite industry on Comstar D4 Transponder 20, audio subcarrier 6.2. And on Thursday nights at 9 Eastern, there's Boresight, another program about our industry. Until next week, good night.